to another PNZ. I hope you enjoyed the last video if you watched it. Bit of the show content we put together, and yeah, it was a good weekend away. Alright, every time I go somewhere I bring the truck home obviously, and yeah, give it a wash and I get underneath and have a look. Well, yeah, this time I was under there and I was looking, and it's like a little dribble of oil, input shaft, front diff. So it's not pouring out, just a little weeping bit running down. So it's not like I use the truck every day, got time to fix it. So I don't know what you call these here, this type of retainer on these, on the yoke, but you obviously don't need a tiger tool to pull it apart. Well, I'm assuming you just undo those and then you can pop it out. I've got a strap holding the shaft. When it does come out, it doesn't go clonk, and I've marked it all just in case it comes out of the spline. Thought I'll document it. Won't be very exciting, but could be to get the nut off though. See what happens with all that. I see they've Loctited the bit of blue on there. They've done it right, which means I have to go and get some because I don't have no blue. I've only got the red. I won't be putting that on. Yeah, to the show and back, I could work it out for, I'll chuck a number, 500 kilometers for us round trip. So yeah, the truck went really good. There's a few things I haven't documented. Somewhere else I went, I come back. I was due for a certificate. It was a week ago. No, I never filmed any of that. I just checked it over, and I see I had a weeping wheel seal. So yeah, I changed the wheel seal. No big drama, pretty easy to do one of those. I didn't really see what was wrong with the old one, but it was weeping, so I just changed it out. I did make the tube spanner though, to go on the wheel nuts. Oh, sorry, on the wheel bearings. So I should show you that later. Made it in the mill. Right, I'll document this a little bit and see if we can pop it off. Let's get brutal with the big guns, see what we can do. Ooh, look at that, just like that, eh? Oh, it's a challenge and a half. Should have been a truck mechanic. Whew. Now to get the nut undone. Wet this off a bit and probably watch it go to the floor. Probably all fall off now. Alright. Clean that nut up and I'll find a socket. And you're ready for a good laugh. We're going to see if we can undo this by hand. 2 1/4 inch drive. I'm not sure the sockets. That's one thing I do have a lot of, is big sockets. But I do have inch drive impact guns as well. I'm just going to see if I can be silly here. That's going to hit on the frame. I won't be able to pull that. I know these won't undo by hand. You got to try. Got to have a laugh. Ooh. Probably going to wind the truck along. Brakes aren't on good enough. I'm doing something. That's incredible. I assume it's the nut undoing. I should mark it. No. Just mark it. Pretty sure that's what's happening. I'm not a differential man, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. I'll just give it another tweak. See what it does. Yoke's not turning though. That thing. Have a look. Oh no, the nut's undoing. The line's moved. Oh. Right. Incredible. I have to read the specs to see what it's got to be done up to. Obviously, I know you need to put a new nut on, but I can tell you now that won't be happening. For the amount of Ks or miles I do, I can do a visual on the truck and make sure everything's alright. I know you're not meant to reuse them. I don't think I'll be the first person to reuse one. The bearing's okay on the input and all that on this. That's going to work. I'll go and see if I can find a socket's not on properly either. There it is. Go and find a can of sauce and spray on there. Otherwise I'm going to be fighting that all the way. I know I should have wire wheeled all that. I love punishment. I'm not that strong. Oh. It just worries me. If I had to put a rattle gun in there, then it was going to the sockets come off. It was going to worry me that I couldn't get it in there lengthwise. Just about need a helper out here. Right, where was I? Undoing the nut. Well, that's happened. Got the yoke off. GoPro went flat, so I gave up. Didn't film no more. So I'll show you what I've done. Got the old seal out. Nothing special. Before I took it out, yeah, the inner piece where it rotates, it was very loose. You can see it flying backwards and forwards. Got it, click. Went to town, went to South Pack Trucks, and not focusing, doesn't matter. They had a seal, won't tell you the price, it's not their fault. And pulled the seal to pieces, which is pretty obvious. There's the other piece on the yoke there. Trying to make a seal driver. So I don't have a seal driver tool made for these. So I was just getting ready, got under there, and I'm like, yep, found what I'm going to do. Going to put it all together, and didn't work. Well, it didn't even start. I've gone and lost what I'm looking for already. Right, I found this. Let's just turn that over, don't want to damage it obviously. This here will fit just on the outside edge of the seal, but won't go over the input shaft. So I'm just going to measure the input shaft, and who knows how hard this is. Don't even know what it is, laying around my press. That's the trouble with me, picks things up and it could be as hard as anything. But if I can, I'll just measure this and I'll machine it that it's a fairly neat fit over the input shaft, so that'll locate all the driver for me. 60mm, they just love metrics. 60mm, which is just over 2 1/4 or something. Alright, right, I'll go down the lathe and see if I can machine this, and we'll see what we come up with. Alright, I got the seal, I've set it in there where it's going to go, and I had to make a seal driver because I don't own one. I've made something which is tight on there, and that fits inside just in the seal bit there, so I'm hoping I can tap this in. Appears to be even, a little bit on that side. A bit more on that side. Different hammer. There's my engineering hammer. That's all right. Alright, I'll live with that. Right, I've put the inner piece in. I'll put a bit of grease on the yoke. Now to try and line all these splines up again. You'll get my big fat shoulder in the picture. Tried to mark it. Tell you what, I think I got that first time off. Tell me if that's right or not. Oh, my one off. No, I'll slide it on a bit more and have a look. It's tight fit in the seal. Right, I've lined it all up. I tried pushing it in, but yeah, I struggled with it. I couldn't get it to push in by hand, so I'm just going to wind it on with a nut. I hope it's going to be alright. Pretty tight in the seal. Trouble is the nut was tight on here too. Makes me nervous. Damage the seal. I know it's tight because the thread was tight. put oil on the washer face, both faces, and obviously the thread. Hate it how it's tight, but we'll get there. Right, I put my homemade torque wrench on there. Yeah, I have got a 1,000 foot-pound one. I've had a bit of trouble with the nut. It's the nut was sort of, yeah, the thread's okay, but it was a bit tight, so you wouldn't get a true reading with a torque wrench. So I've banged the yoke, and you can see the orange thing down there. Yeah, I've got the jack under the bar, and I've just, yeah, applied a lot of pressure, hit the yoke and all that. Hopefully that's, yeah, going to be alright. Obviously I'll run it and I'll check it, make sure it doesn't come loose on the spline, but it's the best I can do. Not much to see here, but I managed to get the shaft back on. I'm just trying to get the caps nipped up a bit, try and line them all up, make sure I get them right. Luckily one never fell off, never lost all the needles out of it. I assume they're all still in there, never had it off the note. I don't know what you call this type of retainer unit. I certainly like it. Must have had a yoke change this truck. I don't think it would have been like this from new. Still see it. I'll get them all nipped up and then I'll get underneath and have a good visual. Make sure I got them in right. I don't think that one there. Maybe it is. Don't know. Get under there and make an assessment in a minute. Just get it on a bit so it's not going to fall off. Right, I'm going underneath. I'll leave you behind.